Okay, good morning, everyone. We have another great day of educational programming for you today, and we have two great plenary speakers for you following some business this morning. And as many of you know, NACM offers and supports a number of awards programs. And this morning, we will have several awards that will be presented. And first up, I would like to ask Jeffrey Sunakawa, the awards committee chair, to come up to the stage to award the Perkins Award and NACM's highest award, the Award of Merit. So Jeffrey.
Good morning, everyone. It's impressive to see this many people on the last day of conference, especially in Las Vegas. And thanks for being here at 8:15 in the morning. It is my pleasure to award a couple awards this morning. As you know, there are several awards that NACM gives out on an annual basis. We send out a call for nominations for these awards, and after receiving a plethora of nominations, we form a subcommittee to review the awards and then award them based on the merits. The first award that I have the pleasure of awarding this morning is the NACM Perkins Award. The Perkins Award is named after Linda Perkins. Linda Perkins served NACM from 1985 to the year 2013. It's awarded annually to a person who goes above and beyond the call of duty, who often makes behind-the-scenes contributions to the field of court administration or the court in which he or she works, and ultimately to the public that we serve. Nominees should possess attributes such as a commitment to achieving organizational success, outstanding public service, consistent professionalism, and a high knowledge about the field of court administration. This year's 2019 Perkins Award is to Mr. Kenneth Pankey. I have to say a couple of words before you run off. Kent has worked his entire career to improve knowledge and information about courts, first starting at the National Center, and then he currently works at the Supreme Court of Virginia, at the Administrative Office of the Courts in Virginia. He has helped develop strategic planning capabilities for the courts and has worked tirelessly on the NACM Core Committee. He shows remarkable ability in strategic planning, thinking, and management. He's played a major role in the curriculum development. If you're ever on the core committee calls, Kent, in addition to the core committee chair, are usually at least the two that we know are going to be on there. He's a remarkable writer and researcher. He excels in providing guidance and direction to system-wide strategic planning efforts and strategic planning to the everyday issues that courts face. And one of the things I recognized about Kent was I was at one of the committee meetings yesterday. I think it was the membership committee, and I looked over, and in Kent's lap was a notebook with about 5 or 6 tabs for all the committees. So he's organized and dedicated to NACM, so thank you, Kent. Our second award this morning is the Award of Merit. The Award of Merit is presented annually to recognize distinguished service and outstanding contributions to the profession of court administration on a national basis. The attributes that nominees should possess for this award are leadership in the administration of justice and delivery of public service through the application of modern management techniques, support for the independence of the judiciary, significant contributions to judicial administrators through the service to the field of court administration and to NACM. Their work is demonstrated not on just a local level, but also on a national level, and they enhance education for court managers and the profession of court administration as a whole. This year's Award of Merit is to Mr. Mark Weinberg. to put you on the spot, the nomination we received for you was probably 45 pages long. We received between 30 and 35 individuals of letters of nomination for you. You do know that many people. To try to sum up all of the great things that were said, I can't do that in probably the 2 minutes that I have. But just a high-level recap. Mark was actually a founding member of NACM. He joined NACM in 1985. His first conference, ironically, was 33 years ago, right here in Las Vegas in 1986. So it's come full circle for you. Mark has attended every single conference since then. You should get an award for that too, by the way. Mark has served on most committees, but has a particular passion for the Communications and Membership Committee. He has helped serve as the award selection committee for many, many years. He's likely responsible for the over 100 members of NACM from the state of Florida. Mark has served as a mentor, a host, a reporter, an author, and a true loyal NACM representative. In Florida, he's led efforts to implement one of the first validated risk-based assessment tool. He served on many statewide committees. In Florida, he's established a drug testing lab, interpreting corporation, digital recording of proceedings, a pretrial diversion program, and many other court initiatives that affect the court constituents in Florida. His decisions are deliberate, consistent, and by the book. He leads by example, subscribing to the highest standards of ethics. Mark personifies what an effective trial court administrator should strive to be, and has become an institution in the state of Florida for his contributions to the administration of justice. And based on all the letters from past court administrators, past presidents, past board members, Robin Wright, Suzanne Stinson, Paul Burke, Ray Billett, Vicki Carlson, Renee Dancer, Pam DeVault, just to name a few. In summary, Mark is a court manager who truly enjoys his work. He puts knowledge, experience, and professionalism to good use every day, and is a true public servant. Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you for that. Okay, show of hands. Who's that guy in the suit and tie? He looks an awful lot like our friend from Daytona Beach, but anyway. First, I need to start by letting you know that public speaking is not my strong suit, so bear with me. I'll try to make this brief. My friends Ray and Paul threatened to cut my mic off if I went too long, so I'll try to be short. When I found out I was getting the award, I was putting my remarks together and fretting a bit over what I thought I should say. And my friend Ty, who I met at a NACM conference in 1988, gave me some good advice. Basically, he said, don't worry about it. Half the people won't listen to you at all, and the other half will forget what you say as soon as you're done. So that was helpful. Thank you, Ty. As Jeffrey mentioned, getting the award here in Las Vegas brings back some memories of my first visit to the city in 1986. It was the first NACM conference. I was 25 years old and had just started working in the Maricopa Superior Court in Phoenix, Arizona. My boss at the time, a guy named Gordon Allison, who gave a lot of us our start in this business, he approached my cubicle and said, hey, new guy, you want to go to Vegas? And did I mention I was 25 years old? Now, it's about a 5-hour drive from Phoenix to Las Vegas, and I don't remember a lot about the trip, except I vividly remember I was so excited to get here that I locked my keys in my car in the middle of the circular drive at the Riviera Hotel. So me and the bell captain became pretty good friends. I don't remember a lot else about that first conference, but here's one thing that sticks in my mind. I was assigned a mentor. It was a guy named Gus Lacari, and Gus was the court administrator from Trenton, New Jersey. And during the course of the conference, he pulled me aside. He said, listen, if you plan on doing this for a long time, if you want to make court your life's work, get involved in the workings of this organization. I'm not sure this is what he had in mind, but I took his words to heart, and I've now been to the NACM conference for 34 consecutive years. This is my 34th conference. Before I go any further, I have to thank Jenny. She not only puts up with my annual conference treks, but encourages me to do so. Frankly, I'm pretty sure she enjoys the peace and quiet while I'm away. She doesn't come to the conference with me too often. She did one time when we first started dating. There's a funny story that goes along with that. At least I think it's funny. If you catch up with Jenny later, maybe she'll share it with you. Anyway, thank you, honey. I've been really lucky to have had a lot of mentors, colleagues, and friends to help guide and support me over the years. I won't mention anyone by name for fear of leaving someone out, but suffice it to say it's a long list. You know who you are, and I thank you. I've also been very fortunate in that the judges with whom I've worked have valued my contributions and have always thought of court administration as a partner in our quest to provide justice to those who seek our help. They support and, in fact, encourage my involvement in NACM as we together seek to improve court systems and, by extension, the circumstances of those who turn to us. Many of my colleagues from the Florida State Court system who help in this pursuit are here today. Thank you all for your friendship and support. Two of my coworkers in the Seventh Circuit are here to share this occasion with me today. Ann Pierce and Shirley Olson. I couldn't do what I do without them and the other members of our fantastic team. To them and any of the judges or staff who may be listening on the live stream, thank you. In closing, here's my message to all the first-time attendees and others who are recent members of NACM. Get involved. Do something. Join a committee. Write an article. Attend conferences. Be a presenter. Join the board. That's not the path I took, but join the board. Just get involved. Here's my hope. I mentioned my friend Gus from Trenton a few minutes ago. Someone's going to be standing up here 10, 15, 20 years from now, accepting this award, and they're going to say, I was at the NACM conference in 2019. Some guy named Mark was standing up here. I don't remember anything he said, but here's what I do remember. He encouraged me to get involved, and boy, am I glad I did. Thanks again.
Now I'd like to call on Alice Roberts to present our NACM CTALK Awards.
Thank you, Jeffrey. The National Association for Court Management and the Court Information Technology Officers Consortium have a long history of promoting, recognizing, and celebrating innovative court technology solutions implemented by NACM and CTALK members. For several years, NACM recognized the top 10 websites and recently the top 10 court technology solutions. Similarly, CTALK instituted an awards program focused primarily on technology innovation. These historical awards programs resulted in the sharing of many national and international technology solutions among NACM and CTALK members. Immense value to our courts often comes directly through the alignment of efforts between court management and court technology professionals. The 2019 NACM CTALK Technology Awards Program recognizes the vitality of these partnerships working together for those we serve. These awards recognize innovation and excellence in the use of information technology. This year's awards program includes two main categories, and they are court management and court technology. Awards presented under the court management category are presented at the NACM conference, as we're going to do here today, and awards presented under the court technology category will be presented at CTALK's next meeting. Before I announce the court management award winners, I'd like to acknowledge the panel of judges. And if you could stand as I call your name, if you're here, that would be great. Kevin Iverson, who is the Chief Information Officer for Idaho Courts. Kevin served as the chair of our committee, and he couldn't be here today. Someone we all know well, Marcus Rankensmeyer, Director of the Arizona Supreme Court's Court Services Division. I think Marcus is in back of the room. And then Kelly Steele, Court Programs Manager for the 9th Judicial Circuit Court in Florida. Casey Kennedy, Chief Information Officer for the Texas Courts. Bob Rath, Director of Appellate Court Technology for the Indiana Supreme Court. And finally, Winnie Weber, JIS Director for the 19th Circuit Court in Illinois. Thank you all for your service and for your thoughtful consideration of the nominations. The 2019 Technology Award nominees are the Administrative Office of Pennsylvania Courts Guardianship Tracking System, the State Courts of Singapore's Community Justice and Tribunal System, the Maryland Judiciary's Court TV and Self-Help Video Library, the Republic of Kazakhstan's e-Justice System, the Administrative Office of Pennsylvania's Courts Electronic Document Archival System, and the Utah State Court's Online Dispute Resolution System, and finally, the First Judicial District of Pennsylvania's Philadelphia Court website enhancements. Please join me in giving all of these nominations or nominees a round of applause. On behalf of the panel of judges who thoughtfully evaluated each of the nominations, I am pleased to present the award for the subcategory of Court Process Innovations to the Administrative Office of Pennsylvania Courts for their Guardianship Tracking System. Projects recognized in this category optimize the way people, processes, and technology work together to transform courts. Here to accept the award on behalf of the Administrative Office of Pennsylvania Courts is Director of Information Technology, Amy Sarasso. Before I invite Amy to give some remarks, I wanted to share a couple remarks from my fellow judges. This is from Marcus Rankensmeyer. This project brings together thoughtful process reengineering and new technologies which help courts protect vulnerable parties and manage a large caseload in an efficient and effective manner. And fellow Judge Casey Kennedy says, this system allows court staff and judges to do more with resources by flagging cases that need attention. Think annual financial reports. Last year they had $10 million flagged, this year $10, if I understand that correctly. And with that, I invite you to come and make some comments.
Thank you. Pennsylvania is honored to accept the NACM Award for Court Process Innovation for its guardianship tracking system. Developed at the direction of the Supreme Court and its Elder Law Task Force, the system provides a tool to court offices to better manage guardianship cases. It also allows for the e-filing of required annual reports and inventories by guardians. The system includes functionality such as electronic notifications to guardians for upcoming and overdue reports, compliance tracking, the insertion of flags for potential areas of loss and neglect, statewide propagation of alerts placed on guardians, and the delivery of detailed statistics for reporting and policy making. Prior to this project, there was little data being collected in Pennsylvania on guardianships. We are now able to track basic data such as the number of active guardianships and the amount of money under court supervision. So far, over 15,000 guardian reports have been accepted into the GTS, and the e-filing rate is 81.8%. Over 80% of the reports have been marked reviewed by the courts. The GTS offers ways to help courts find available guardians, monitor mandated reporting compliance, and placing judicial alerts on guardians in real time. The GTS was designed working closely with court users and guardians and includes a shared database for two distinct user interfaces, one for court users, judges, chamber staff, clerks of staff, and court administration, and one for guardians and their attorneys. The GTS is the sole method of e-filing guardianship reports and inventories in Pennsylvania, although e-filing is not mandatory. If a case is manually filed, the clerk's office must enter the report data into the GTS to guarantee a complete set of data being available for reporting and statistical purposes. A major benefit to guardians is that report data is pre-populated from the prior year's reports. The data entry employs a wizard-like approach that guides guardians through the submission process. There's help text within the system, and AOPC has created training videos that are available to guardians on our web portal. We also conducted statewide training for court users and guardians. Data was migrated from 13 different systems in 67 counties into GTS, and we have two-way integrations between the Clerk of Orphans Court systems and the GTS. The GTS also facilitates the payments of filing fees through AOPC's online payment system. The GTS was piloted in July of 2018, and the statewide rollout was completed in December of that year. The guardianship system has been extraordinarily well received by the courts, including the elected clerks of Orphans Court and guardians in Pennsylvania. It is one of our most successful system launches ever. We have an amazing team of managers, analysts, developers, trainers, and others who worked hard to make this the best system they could. The team was very motivated by the idea of helping to address issues around elder abuse and fraud. We have been supported by the Supreme Court, its Advisory Council on Elder Justice, the AOPC's Office of Elder Justice, AOPC senior management, and many other county court jurists and staff and elected clerks as we develop the system. We'll be doing a longer presentation and demo of the system at CTC, so I hope that if you're interested, you'll stop by and see that. And thank you again for recognizing this very important project.
Congratulations again. And for those of you in the room that are going to CTC, I highly recommend that you go and take a look at this program because it really is truly impressive. Okay, next, I am pleased to present the award for the category of Digital Courts, Court to Citizens, to the State Courts of Singapore's Community Justice and Tribunal System. Projects recognized in this category foster improved interaction between courts and citizens and encourage citizen engagement and provide access to data and information for citizens' use. And Jennifer Marie is here to accept this award from Singapore. Again, I asked my fellow judges to provide a few remarks about this program, and Marcus Renkenmeyer shares, built with an eye for the future, this broad scope system maximizes the integration of court data and digital documents. The public will be well served by this comprehensive, scalable solution which will streamline court services. Casey Kennedy says, this program is an excellent example of ODR in action. It's used across several case types and it reduces the workload for staff and judges. Casey highlights a couple of caveats for you, for those who might be interested in implementing such a program. Because Singapore has a national ID system, ID management is very easy. The program also allows historical data to tell litigants what an appropriate settlement amount would be. And Casey cautions that we can't do this because of unauthorized practice of law issues. And then also he adds, they have a special kind of court where the judge guides the litigants through. No attorneys are allowed. And I'll spare you the remark, but he basically said the bar associations or the bars would not allow this. And so for that, I just invite Judge Jennifer Marie up to share a few remarks.
The State Courts of Singapore is deeply honored to receive this award from NACM. Me and my colleague Maureen had to travel more than 18 hours to get here, and that just is best testimony of how important we think this award is. It's a fitting recognition of the work of the state courts, and the community justice tribunal system is effective in helping litigants in person deal with a number of their issues without having to come to court. The scalable framework has allowed us to add new modules from what we first started out in January 2019. A court survey carried out in 2018 confirmed to us that we had been successful in providing a comprehensive online filing case management system with ODR functions to assist litigants in person in filing and settling their dispute online without having to come to court. 8 in 10 court users surveyed found it a user-friendly system, and they were very satisfied with it. Now, again, on behalf of the State Courts of Singapore, we'd like to thank you for this award.
Again, congratulations. A third award for the Emerging Technologies category will be presented to the Administrative Office of Pennsylvania Courts for their electronic archival document system. This award will be presented at CTOC's next meeting. For more information about the nominations, award categories, and award criteria, please visit nacmnet.org. Thank you.
Excuse that little pause, there was a photo op, so I need to take advantage of that, so excuse me for that. So at this time, I'd like to reconvene our business meeting. And as you can see on the agenda, the first line of business is to declare and to share with you an introduction of the new NACM board. So we had the nominations closed on Tuesday, and Robert's Rules provides that if there is only one person nominated for each position, the president is to declare the nominations or the nominees elected by acclamation. Therefore, nominations having been closed on Tuesday, and there being only one nominee for each position, the slate of nominees as presented is hereby elected by acclamation. I would like to invite up to the stage immediate past president and chair of the nominations committee, Vicki Carlson, to introduce the new board.
Thank you, Paul. I first want to say congratulations to all those individuals that received NACM awards this morning. Congratulations to all of you. Now it is my honor and pleasure to introduce the 2019-2020 NACM board. Please stand when I call your name, and please hold your applause until the end. President Will Simmons from Georgia. President-elect TJ Bement from Georgia. Vice President Kathy Griffin from Michigan. Secretary-Treasurer Jeffrey Sunakawa from Texas. And past President Paul DeLoche from Virginia. For our directors, we have Charleston Carter from North Carolina, Michelle Donovan from Arizona, Frank Hardister from Michigan, Tina Madison from Arizona, Rick Pierce from Pennsylvania, Angie Van Choik, Colorado, and Dorothy Howell from New Jersey, Kelly Hutton from North Dakota, and Jeff Chappell from Missouri. Congratulations to all of you, and I know you will do great things for the board next year.
Thank you, Vicki. And at this time of the year, too, it's often sad that we see individuals roll off the board. We have individuals serve for a 3-year term. There are sometimes where there are special elections where that might vary. But I would like to recognize the outgoing board members, and certainly one of them will be advancing, as Vicki had just mentioned, Jeffrey Sunakawa. But I just wanted to share with each of you these individuals, and let me just share again, Vicki Carlson, Greg Lambard, Alice Roberts, and of course Jeffrey Sunakawa. Each one of them, as you've heard over the week, as you've heard over the year and the years, have made tremendous impact on our organization. And just like you've seen the support of past presidents, past board members here at the conference, I have no doubt that they will continue to support our association moving forward. So I would like to acknowledge each one of them. So if you could just step up here again, Vicki Carlson from Minnesota, Greg Lambard from New Jersey, Alice Roberts from Alaska, and Jeffrey Sunakawa from Texas. Okay, at this time, I would like to introduce the Honorable Christopher Edwards, Chief Judge of the Griffin Judicial Circuit Superior Courts of Georgia, who will make a few remarks and swear in the board.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you all so much for having me here this week. I think you've probably seen me among you. I want to say congratulations, Will. I barely have the words. I love you. If Will has a flaw, it's probably giving himself away too much. It's probably wanting to be loved too much. Being here this week, I've discovered and been very humbled to realize I'm a referee, but you run the stadium. What you do here is amazing. All the programs are important, but what you have mostly is the relationships here that keep you going. I've seen you treat each other like family and friends. For that, you've elected a magnificent president. For all the programs that you have, the relationships that you have with each other are far more important. For that, you couldn't have a better president. I'd like to share a story, because we get to know each other by stories, that I'd rather not share. I was in the room when my friend, Dr. Will Simmons, was deliberately insulted. I'd rather not share the circumstances or the people involved, but we were all sitting down, and Will kind of dropped his head. He smiled a little bit. He looked toward me and he said, "What would you have me do, Chief?" He likes to call me Chief, and I like that. He likes to say, "I got this, Chief." And I said, "Will, everyone else in the room believes that you're doing a splendid job. We're delighted with you, and we want you to keep on doing it." He said, "Yes, sir." The meeting broke up shortly after that, needless to say, and I walked down the hall with Dr. Will Simmons. And I said, Will, I'm so sorry. And Will's response was the beginning of this genuine friendship that I have with him, and the point at which things went beyond just a professional relationship. He said something I can't quote him because I was rather taken back. He said, that man lives in a closed world with a dark sky, but he'll be my friend sooner or later. If you have even insulted this man, he will try even harder to be your friend. You see, Will has an excellent soul. I don't know if you've ever read anything by Plato, but you in the justice business might be interested in this. Plato wrote that justice is not an external thing or something that we do one to another. Justice is a condition of the soul. Justice is the excellence of the soul. I tell you, from my personal knowledge, and I bear testimony, that Dr. Will Simmons, your new president, has an excellent soul. He is the type of person who improves everyone around him. He will make you better if you will become his friend and let him in. There was an article just this morning about emotional contagion. It's a scientific study, and the principle is that you become like the people that you associate with. I've read something like this before, so have you. You become most like the 5 people that you spend the most time with. If you want to become a better tennis player, you play with someone better. If you want to be more cheerful, you hang around with people who are optimistic and positive and intelligent and who are where you want to go. When I grow up, I want to be like you. My secretary calls him the magic man. He is the court's ambassador. We would all rather send him into the room to get what we need from a county commission or from the state than to go ourselves. Something in the range of 250,000 people are my constituents. I'm elected. I was first elected, not appointed. I should have some decent human relation skills, but he exceeds them all. When Will walks in the courthouse, there's a buzz. You hear people say all the time, Will's in the courthouse, and they smile, and they hope that he's coming by to see them. And if he doesn't, they'll go out of their way to stop by and say, Will, what you doing? You can ask Will for something, and if he can't do it right away, it'll come as soon as it's possible, not because he had to get to it, but because it just was impossible then. He is a diplomat. He knows how to tell me no. It goes something like this: Judge, yeah, but how's it going to look when, or, yeah, well, you think we're going to be able to get so-and-so on board with that? And I say, okay, I get it, that's fine. All right, that's fine, that's fine. So I'll tell you one more thing about him, because as Mark said, and he's right, usually people don't remember what you said when you got up to speak. He runs Epic Hospitality Suites. When you're thinking about coming to the next meeting and not remember that, say that with me: Epic Hospitality Suites. That's right, and you'll remember that if you remember nothing else. I suppose I would. Will's an amazing man and with such a wide range of talents. And I've asked his friends to use some words to describe him so that you could get to know him just a little bit. These are the words that his friends used: brilliant, infectious laugh, high emotional intelligence, mentor. The number of people he has mentored. I was talking to Yolanda from Fulton County last night, who's going to work in Washington. Her mentoring story is about how she was led by him are amazing. Leader, organizer, musician, very active alum. How many of you have seen a drum major out in front of a marching band? And the whole band is not just marching, but dancing. And the best dancer of all is out front, the drum major. That's Dr. Will Simmons, at Savannah State. And so I've come 2,008 miles, and I thought many times about what do I want to say, and what would be really important to hear maybe 1,000 people say back, because a lot of people will tell you as you get to know him, Will is a really great dancer. So for the next year, I don't want Will to forget about me. He's my brother. We have a little bit of a sibling rivalry too. And I'm happy to share him with you for him to be your president. But when you hear someone tell him, hey, Will, I hear you're a really great dancer, I want you to respond with this, and I just want you to repeat it one time because I want Will to hear 1,000 people say this. When somebody says to Will, I hear you're a great dancer, I want you to say back, almost good as Chris. Let me hear it. It was all worth it. So I want to read you some things in the order of credentials. There's too much, I'm sorry for reading, but there's too much to remember. After serving as the clerk of the United States Attorney's Office and court administrator for Cobb County, then Clayton County, Dr. Will Simmons now manages budget, personnel, capital renovations, equipment procurement, judicial workload assessment, interpreters, and the ADR office for 22 judges, high ego judges, difficult judges, mostly me, in 14 counties. Called the 6th Judicial District of Georgia, Will formerly served as president of the Georgia Council of Court Administrators and now serves on the State Bar of Georgia's Unlicensed Practice of Law Committee. He now serves as chairperson of the Savannah State University Foundation. Will was recently named an outstanding citizen of Georgia by the current governor of Georgia, and did all that while studying and now having earned, of course, his PhD in organizational leadership, playing tennis, and his saxophone while riding his Harley. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming and congratulating the magic man, your new president, Dr. Will Simmons.
Thank you, Chief. And thank you, NACM. I can't believe he traveled this far to be here and share this moment with me, but I certainly appreciate it. It's not every day, as you all know, to hear one of your chief judges talk about you in that manner. So I'm completely humbled and grateful that you are here representing all 22 elected of my judges in the 6th District. So again, thank you, Chief. My career in court management or court administration is rewarding because I've had great mentors, I've had supportive judges, I've had skilled staff. And because of those folks, I've been able to grow and go. So I'm appreciative to those folks. And it's been 21 years. I joined NACM in 2002. Shelley Euchre signed my membership certificate. I know some of you know her, so I'm dating myself a little bit. So it's been since that time. My first court job was in the Cobb County Superior Court in the basement of the law library. I made up all of $5 an hour. And I was trying to figure out, where do I fit into this judicial system? And I think Mark mentioned earlier that if you want to aspire to do something, want to do something, that you attach yourself to someone who's already doing that very thing. And for me, that person was a former NACM past president. His name was Howard Skip Cheshire. And he was the one that allowed me and encouraged me to join my state association, the Georgia Council of Court Administrators, and NACM. And I have been coming ever since 2002, again, growing and going in this profession. And so I'm very grateful to Skip. When I left Cobb after 7 years, I became the court administrator in Clayton County, as he stated. Bob Bray was someone who was here last night. He had to leave early, but I said, Bob, I said, I don't know. I said, that's a big job. And he said, Will, you can do it, man. You got this. And so I took a chance and, again, grew. And never really left, because when I was appointed by him and 4 other chief judges as the district court administrator, Clayton was still a part of that district, and I've been in this capacity now for, I think, 13 or 14 years. So I really enjoyed. I mention all of this to say that my journey here on this stage and being here at this very moment was not easy. And so I've experienced every high, low, success, failure, that you can think of in courts and in people. But the beauty of that is that I didn't have to do that alone. There are 3 people here who've walked with me, who kept me covered, and I'm so grateful to them. I'm trying to keep it together. But I gotta recognize them. I gotta thank Yolanda Lewis. She's here. Yolanda, please raise your hand. Great friend. I want to thank TJ Bement. TJ Bement and Edwin Bell. Three great friends. We're all from Georgia, but they answered my phone calls. Again, TJ and I teach courses. Yolanda and I go way back, and Edwin is just, he's just that constant friend that knows how to push you and keep you going and won't let you settle. So I'm eternally grateful to you guys, and I appreciate that. I've also had some NACM mentors. I'm here because I had, again, great mentors, and I want to mention some of you in no particular order, but out of respect and admiration for what you do in this organization and how you've touched it. Again, in no particular order, I want to thank Ron Truss, Sarah Brown Clark, Linda Romero Souls, Paul Burke, Grant Brantley, Carla Smith, Stephanie Hess, Vicki Colson, Marcus Rankesmeyer, Pam DeVault, and Michelle Oken. I'm grateful to you all for your mentorship as I grew in this organization. I know we've recognized the past presidents at the beginning of this program, but I want to also recognize them again. Will you past presidents, if you're still in the room, please stand? Past presidents of NACM, please stand. Thank you all. Again, just my admiration and respect for what you have done to touch this organization at the various times that you have. And you have my word that I will continue to build on this solid foundation that you guys provided, and I will leave it in a better situation than I found it. There's a bridge. I'm hoping it's on the screen. I can't see it. That bridge, okay. And I know you're thinking, why the bridge? It's called the Lucy Creek Bridge. I am a native of Beaufort, South Carolina. And if you're familiar with my state, we have little islands off the coast of Carolina. And I grew up on one of those islands. It was called Cusco Island. Yes, it's in the United States, it's South Carolina. You've probably been to Hilton Head Island before. Well, Hilton Head is in Beaufort County. So I grew up on the water, and I had a deep appreciation for living off the land. My grandfather taught us how to, cast shrimp nets. We can go in the backyard and catch some crabs and whatever, and we did that as kids. But I spent most of my childhood under that bridge learning and growing and playing with my cousins and everyone, and kind of learned who I was playing under that bridge. And I still take my children there today when we go home. But it's there because it's where I discovered who I was as a person. And it's who I am as a professional in this career, and a father and a husband and everything else. I'm just a bridge. I'm a bridge. And this organization, too, is a bridge for the future of our courts and how we manage them. We all have a huge responsibility, as you know, to do that. And so that's why that bridge is there, and that's what it symbolized, and that's who you're getting from Will, is a bridge. So I appreciate you. You've already heard our president, Paul, earlier talk about the voice of the profession. I want to thank all the folks that work on that, Greg, Rick, Angie, the whole team that had a hand in that whole thing. So I'm not going to regurgitate that whole thing. You also know that we have a NACM strategic plan that's online, and I encourage you all to read it, because it's not about what my vision is. That is our collective shared vision for the organization. So I encourage you to read the strategic plan and to listen to the voice of the profession, where we have it published on the site. I value each of you, and again, I appreciate this opportunity greatly to help advance this organization. Thank you for this opportunity.
Lots of love in the room, there really is. So you have a great incoming president, and again, Will had mentioned there are bridges, and as one individual, as I had mentioned, moves off the board, we're hoping that we pass information that will help individuals that follow be very successful. So we have, again, a great bridge in place to take us to even new levels. And this will be my final sort of official act as the president of NACM. And just like Will had shared, I too started in early 2000 as a member of NACM. And for those of you that likely didn't remember what I said when I accepted the presidency, I had shared that when I started in a management position at the AOC, one of my long-term colleagues came to me and said, "Paul, what do you want to do? How do you want to be remembered when you leave the court profession?" And I had said, I wanted to be remembered as someone that sort of challenged norms and brought new ideas and suggestions and just made the court system better than what it was when I started. And she said to me, "Then you need NACM." And I was so pleased that she had said that to me. I hadn't heard of the association, and just like Will had said, went to the first conference and Mark had shared too. Don't really remember too much, but what I remember about that is that there was this feeling of commitment in the room to exactly what I had shared with her, what I wanted to do, and have an impact on the court system. So as I transition off from this position, obviously I'll still be on the officer track as the immediate past president. I just wanted to share what a great time that I have had over the years being involved with NACM. If you too want to make changes at your court system, if you want to be on the cutting edge of changes and initiatives that you want to bring back to your own home court, please get involved. We can't say it enough. It has been so rewarding, not only professionally, but personally as well. So please do that. I would be remiss in not acknowledging all of those that have helped me along the way, all of the friendships that I've built, but all the professional relationships that I have gained over the years. And you all know who you are, and I have lifelong friends as well, so thank you for your support along the way. But this past year, what we spent this past week doing at this conference is highlighting and sharing the many advancements that we have made within our organization. And I don't need to repeat them, but we keep trying to push the envelope. We keep trying to listen to you and bring to you resources, materials, education that will help you improve the court systems and, of course, yourselves as a professional court administrator. So this board that I have been so pleased and honored to lead over this past year, I want to thank each and every one of you. You're all terrific. You are all leaders in your own right. And I could not have asked for a better support mechanism from all of my fellow board members this past year. I also want to thank, obviously, when we become involved with these organizations, we need the support of our home office, our home court. And that starts with the administrative director, Carl Haid, who has supported me in my journey through involvement with NACM, not only just through committee members, but through the board as well. And he has just told me, go, get involved. I want you, because he knew that it would benefit the entire state of Virginia. Been very honored to actually be the first elected from the great state of Virginia to be president of NACM, and I'm very honored. But I'm also honored, too, by the support mechanism that I had back home. I have a tremendous team that supports the state courts in Virginia. And again, I could not do this without them holding down the fort, doing all that they can do to make sure that our court system in the state of Virginia is one of the best in the country. So I want to thank them as well. So, enough about me. Now it's time to officially turn this organization over to our incoming president and our president, Will Simmons.
Thank you, Paul. Paul and I joined the board in 2009 together, so it's been a 10-year run working together and trying to advance this organization. Paul brought a certain amount of integrity and accountability to his position this past year, and we just want to say thank you for all of the work you've done, Paul, and will continue to do. So on behalf of this body and this organization, we want to present you with this token of our appreciation, so as you look at it, you remember how much we appreciate you. Thanks. At this time, if the board members would please come forward, Chief Judge Edwards will swear us in.
I also fish better than Will. All right, so when I say state your name, you know, don't say state your name. State your name. All right, if you raise your right hands, please. I, and state your name, please, do solemnly affirm that I will support and uphold the principles of the National Association for Court Management, and that I will perform the duties of my office faithfully, impartially, and justly to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations. All right.